Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Bali Kehel, and we're actually on our new lab right now. This is Lab 13, and this lab is all about a tool, which is a automated footprinting tool, and you can basically use automated footprinting for an organization. And the name of the tool is FOCA, FOCA. And basically, for this tool is a pretty neat tool when it comes down to going in and analyzing metadata, right? So first, let's go on Google and just say download FOCA. And FOCA is basically, those of you who don't know, metadata is the information which is associated with data. So data associated with data, right? And I'll explain to you while we go through this lab also, right? It is basically go to the 11 Paths website, because that's the site which basically does this makes this tool, and basically FOCA by itself, it stands for fingerprinting organization and from the collected archives. So that's what FOCA basically means, right? But here you can see on the website, it's 11 Paths is a company which is again a part of Telefonica, and it's a Spanish company, I think so. And the FOCA is basically a fingerprinting organization with collected archives. That's the full form of FOCA. So here you can see like a basic information about FOCA, right? Things here to know is that any document which you ever create, it could be your PowerPoint, it could be a Word document. It gets stamped with some metadata. Metadata is the name of the user who created that document or updated that document last. The username, right? The domain name, the machine operating system. All kind of sensitive metadata information is associated with the particular document. So you need to understand that this information, when put in the hands of wrong person, can help in compromising some important information, even your system, right? So this tool itself, it basically gives you, first of all, it lets you mine and search for documents what are present on a particular URL or particular domain name, right? And then it tells you, lets you analyze certain things. All right. So first thing now, there's a link which basically is the download link on the 11 Paths website. And when you click on download, it'll give you a EULA, that is terms and conditions and end user license agreement. So basically, just hit confirm to the download, and then you can agree to the conditions, and then it'll present you with a download link, right? So it does. So now you can save the file. It's a 4 megs file. Just click download, and I'm just saving it on the desktop for that matter, so you can get to it faster. And by the way, FOCA is a Windows only tool. Only Windows based systems can use it, and you need to have .NET framework also installed, because it won't like if you don't have that installed. Just to let you know, heads up, right? So you prepare your machine accordingly. So all right, so let's look a little bit into the functionality. What all functionality does this tool give you? Right, so it's basically includes a discovery module, and the purpose is to automate the server search process. It uses Google, it uses Bing and some other search engines to do that. It does web search, DNS search, IP resolution. So it searches basically the hosts and the domain names using the URLs which are associated with the domain, right? And then it basically goes in and extracts information from the hosts and the domain names, which is basically your PDF, Word documents, any kind of documents which you have checked when you're trying to do that search, right? So you can go and look through the functionality, go on the website, visit them at 11paths.com. Here is a list of all the different features or characteristics of this tool. Of course, it does metadata extraction, DNS snooping, it gets like search for common files, technology identification. So technology identification, there's another site builtwith.com that also does it. So just to let you know, so this tool also has that built in. Fingerprinting, leaks, backup search, error forcing. Yeah, pretty cool lineup, right? And also it comes with multiple plugins, and you can have reporting plugins, and you can use different kind of other plugins also, right? So which is a pretty extensible tool, I would say, which goes above and beyond the regular tools that is just only stopping at a particular point, right? So you go and look through the documentation, right? So now we have downloaded Foca, and we've downloaded Foca Pro, and just extract it, of course, very normal process. Double click on it, and then now you can see, click on the bin folder, and you'll find the foca.exe. You got to double click on it and for installation. So you can have you can see there is a DNS directory and analysis directory. So this is a final version of Foca. You install it. All right, so it's done. So first things first, so now Foca is all up and running. You got to first create a project. So let me do it on full screen, and top left, if you see, there is a project option, and you do a new project. You create a project. First thing you give it is a friendly name, and that is in this case I'm just going to give it Cyber Security Think Tank, and a domain, I'll just give a parent domain name social27.com here. That way just add in www in front of it, so it's going from that particular subdomain. And then if there's any alternative domains, if you have associated with the domain which you're doing the analysis on, you can this is a point where you give that. I'm just going to save it on the desktop, make a folder for social27, and just hit OK. That way, that's where it's going to store the analysis which it does and all the results on that particular folder, because it's good to know where that folder is. I think rest just keep it all as default, and then click on create. So now the project is created, and it's just asking me the name, that exactly like what that it's going to create a Foca file for me, a Foca project file. I just saved it. It's basically saving the project. I'm using Foca version 3.4 just to let you know. And now let's, on the top right, you see the search engines which it's trying to search on, and it has all, none, Google, Bing are selected by default. Let's do search all. It basically will go in, and you see the extensions. It's listed all the extension which it is searching for on that particular website, right? Like your doc, PPT, PPS, XLS, docs. So the old versions of Office documents, the new versions, and it's got tons of other versions. If you look on the bottom left, the status bar, it's basically telling you a few things. Oh, this is another information box. So it says that there is a reverse engineer you can add as an alternate domain. Sometimes this gets a lot some data which you don't want there, but I'm just saying yes so that so you guys can see what it basically does. So look at fuzzer. It says severity high, insecure method found on trace on HTTP. So it basically also gives you a good vulnerability analysis for your site, and tells you that that what if you have any open or unsecure gates open for the bad guys, I would say, right? I'm just I'm not here to show you exactly the vulnerabilities and how to kind of get down to repair or sanitize them, but my goal is here to get you familiar with the tool, right? So you can go to any link and say open link in browser right from the list which is giving you for the URLs. It'll go in and open that URL which you basically found on Foca, and then once the URL is open, there's no guarantee that you'll find this information in there just because we've done the reverse thing in there. But ideally, if your search is right, the domain is right, you can go in and basically search for the results, and find out where the mention of the domain name has happened, how it's been, since it's a document which it's part of. And this looks like a pretty big file where this looks like this domain has been mentioned, or accordingly to a FOCA tool. So this document is pretty huge, right? So I don't, it's 105 pages. So I don't think so I'll be spending time, but let me just try like going and ciphering through the document and finding the location where you can find it. But you get the point, right? So the goal is here to see and to find out if FOCA is basically getting all that information, and it is. And in this case, like, it's pointing to documents, PDFs, other documents. This looks like an embedded PDF. It's using a PDF reader or something like that, right? But as a security specialist, penetration tester, and security analyst, you can basically get a list of all these information documents where a particular domain has been mentioned, right? And the FOCA, basically you can just right click. You can see HTML documents. You can there's a link. You can open it in browser. Very, very, very handy. And these HTML files which are there. This is a government site, the National Library of Energy. It's a beta site, and basically you can, this tool, just play with it. Right click, download, delete. You get all kind of options. Analyze metadata, file add folder. So you can like kind of group stuff also in there. You can add folders and try to like group things depending upon group URLs and so forth, depending upon what exactly you are doing, right? So you can again, the document searching, matching is not focus of this lab. My focus is there to just get you familiar with the tool, so you see the value of the tool, and you see whenever you want to use this tool in your day-to-day research, day-to-day information gathering part, and this is basically your information gathering based on your about open source intelligence methods which you're trying to use here, right? And especially for reconnaissance and overt based information gathering, which are socially available, right? So those are some of the key things. This is again this multiple page document. So we can also try to do some other domain, but let's go through the different things which it has options here. We got network, domain, so related domains. So look at that. So it's got so many related domains which have some kind of a relation, reverse linking back to social27.com, right? So you can see here it's pretty cool, I would say, right? And then you can click on those domains and then further see what technology they're recognizing, crawling those domains. You can crawl further, like drill into those domains and see those kind of those minute details of information also, right? Again, right click gets you copy to clipboard, export. There's MX records on documents. It says administrator guide has someone mentioned on there, and which is pretty nice, right? And then these are the domains. The servers are there. Domains, you can see the kind of domains are there. Then roles. This is pretty interesting. So there is Active Directory, DNS, firewall, and keeps going on. HTTPS, LDAP, SSH, whois, vulnerabilities. This gives you a good detail on what kind of vulnerabilities it searches for. If they found any, it'll populate those. If you click on them, you can find that, right? And you can figure out what vulnerability has been part of, and metadata, which is like one of the key things, like what are the different files it found out. And how to get to that files, right? And these are the documents which it kind of listed out, and these are the links for those documents, and you can go and grab and get to those documents also, right? And again, so you can go in and go to HTTPS. You can right click and go for HTTPS fingerprinting, HTTP fingerprinting. So all these capabilities are built right within the tool, right? And we are doing it for a particular domain in this case. And this tool is very, very versatile, I would say. And it basically lets you go in and grab information about the technologies, as I said. the sources of the domain, the IP addresses of a particular domain, if any technology which the domain is using, the crawling, what crawlers the domain has as part of it, exploiting files, logs. Again, in crawling, you have Google and Bing crawling, because we did like 2 search engines, but if there's more than 2 which you selected, I think that gives the option of 3, then I would have had 3 crawlers in here, listed in here, right? So that is one thing to remember. And mail, let's look at the mail fingerprinting. That's also another option down here. And then in metadata, you have users, folders, and the software and so forth. So this gives you a good idea, right? And it gives you your IP addresses for each and every domain right in there for the domains which are associated. And you can also like go and look into, like, you can select all files if you want, but like, usually I would recommend select for the popular file extensions, like, which are used, which you think are worth for you to search for. But then if you're just going blind in terms of you don't know exactly what you're searching for and just looking for vulnerabilities when it comes down to files, then you can definitely use all files and just by default select all, right? So there's some features which need reporting, Crystal reports for it. All right. So that gives you a good idea, right? So now let's do another new project. And in this case, we will change the project name to Dokara and also change the website domain, name of the website to dokarainfo.com. And I think we had kept everything default, save it on desktop, create a folder on desktop with the particular site or with particular name which I'm trying to use here, and DUCARA, and then just say hit OK and then say create. So it'll go and create. Of course, it always asks you for a location. Just the case desktop, save, OK. It says success happened. Then you say search all. So now again it's gone. We're doing a new project, and this new project again we just started it. So it should start spitting out information in this table: the ID type, URL, download date, size, analyze, and modified date. It'll get all that information back and start pumping it out. So right now you can see it's searching for docs in Google Web, right? If you look at the bottom left of the status bar of the particular tool. So that is also important. You should know that where all it's been searching, or has it already searched Google and Bing and nothing is coming back. So that way you know that this domain is either not up right now, or this is a bogus domain name, because it's literally not returning, or it could be a new domain where it doesn't have much information indexed all across the web. Some domains do have that. There's no crawlers. The crawling is turned off because of security reasons, right? And or crawling is turned off to a specific areas. I would recommend that you go and see how you can basically use the robots.txt file or any other methods to turn off crawling for Bing and Google. That way your documents, which are your secure documents, will not be ever listed in any of the searches, and people cannot get to it. So that is very critical for the security of particular documents also, right? Here you can see some results came back. That Fuzzer got some insecure methods which are found, and then it got some directory listings found also. So it's directory listing is turned on, which is not a good thing at all. So all these things, again, similar data which I did for the first domain. It tells you the metadata. It gives you vulnerabilities. It gives you the documents. It gives you it's still going on, so it'll take some time to finish through, but you get the idea. It gives you the roles, the Active Directory roles, the DNS, the finger firewall. So every site, when it comes down to what kind of security they're part of and what kind of security footprint they're trying to do and posture they have, you need to understand that by using these kind of tools, right? And another key thing is when, as I was mentioning before, you need to understand that never ever put your important critical documents, your files containing contracts and so forth on the web and then just say, hey, you know what, nobody knows that it's lying there. I just share it with my sales team because it's a direct link, right? If you have access to a direct upload, share or something, that is totally wrong. Now the whole world is looking at your contracts, and I've seen some mistakes done by security people like this, that, hey, you know what, we don't have a location, but I just made a location which is only visible to internally because we only share that link internally. So, well, that is exposing your critical data without knowing what you're doing. So anyhow, so now here you can see, if you click on network, it tells you, like, selected search types. You can do Bing, Google Web, Google API, again Bing Web, and using Bing API. And Google Web basically caps you at 1,000 results, and max it does the results at 32 words. Just to remember, so that you're not expecting too much for free. You gotta go in and use the right search mechanism or search type. And again, for DNS search, there is a specific search which you can do down here. And for dictionary search also, it'll tell you exactly what the limitations are, what are the limitations on IP addresses for Bing and so forth, right? So these things are very important, because when you're doing some extensive search, you do want to get or upgrade to paid versions, or if anything else is needed, you got to have supply the right credentials for that. Correct? All right, so let's do a start here and see what we have here. And it basically gives you an IP for Bing, and which allows you search links. So it also gives you the functionality that can be used to find domains that share your IP address. So we cannot fire it right now because we still have one query which is happening and it's running. It says search doc in Google Web. So like it's kind of running through. So these are some filters which you can set up at this stage. And you can also like clear data if you need from the logs itself. So yeah. So this gives you a good idea. I mean, the good idea about FOCA, which is basically your automated fingerprinting of an organization, and you can get a lot of data, as I showed you. This tool is extensive, guys. I mean, I totally recommend that you go and play with the tool. You go in and understand the tool a little bit more, and get the detail of an organization, get the detail, do a reverse on it, get the metadata information. And the metadata information, as I mentioned to you before, was basically the key thing. Is like a lot of sensitive information embedded within a document as data of data. And this data is basically metadata, and you can basically get down to metadata by using the same or similar tools, right? Okay, I hope you had a good understanding about FOCA now, and you enjoyed the lab. I will see you in the next lab, and thanks for joining. Bye-bye.